In this lesson, we're going to begin working on the wheels of our car. Alright, so we are almost finished with our car. We're going to add in some of the final details. Let's go ahead and add in the wheels here just to get started. Let's hide the belly pan. So we're just going to hide that selection. Come into our cylinder here, and let's add that right along the middle of that. Drag that up, and it should touch the outside edge of the tire. Okay, well actually let's do the rim first. We'll wait on the tire. So we'll go ahead and drag up a height there. We have something right around in here. Let's grab our move tool and pull that over. So something like that. Go to your front view, just kind of help line that up a little bit. Should be right about there. And then I'm going to go to my left view, and I'm going to convert this over to editable poly. Let's double click on this edge right here and hit Control Backspace to remove that. And then I'm going to select every other edge here. Actually, let's do, let's hit Control Z a couple times really quickly before I convert that. Let's take this down to 8 sides for right now. Actually, let's see, let's hit Alt X. I'm just trying to think about how I want to set this up. Let's go ahead and take that up. I'm going to make it to where I have a center line on each one of these spokes. Okay, just like that. All right, that looks good. So 20 sides. Let's take this and convert it over to editable poly. Let's take out the extra edges that we don't need. Kind of looking at this here. You know what? I'm going to leave them. Actually, I may take this up a little bit higher, to be honest. Let's take this up. Let's give ourselves a center line on each one of those, and then also see if we can't get the edges to match up. So it looks like about 40 would give us plenty, and that's going to give us plenty of room on that outside edge. And then let's go ahead and go to edge mode, convert it to editable poly, go to edge mode. Double click on this loop right here, and let's scale that down. And it's going to leave an edge behind, and the reason for that is because of the back polygons. Let's go ahead and select this vertex right here in the middle, hold Control, go to polygon mode, grow it 1 time, and actually let's do that 2 times, and delete. So that way we're just left with this right here. Alright, so now what I want to do is I want to go in and add in another loop. So edit, swift loop. Let's add in a loop right here for that edge there. And then we're going to take these polygons all the way around. Let's deselect the ones that are on the spokes. And I'm going to actually push that down into the rim. So I'm going to use extrude. And just kind of help you see how this works. Let me pull that down. Let's hit Alt X so you can kind of see that there. And let's do negative 0.5 to get us started. And take a look at our left view. Let's hit Alt X. And then we're going to inset that. And actually, let's not inset it. Let's do this. Let's add in another loop. We're going to add a loop right there. Let me deselect the polygon mode. Let's add a loop right here. And then I'm going to take all of these polygons except for the ones on the spokes. And then I'm going to extrude those down again. And we'll do 0.5 there. Should look something kind of like that. And really quickly, I forgot, let's deselect these as well. Don't forget about those ones on the sides. We don't want to extrude that down. Alright, so let's extrude that. Hit OK. And we have everything that we need there. Let's go back to our left view. Let's turn off polygon mode. Just kind of look at what we have left. We need one more loop right here on that. And with this, we're going to do the exact same thing, but then we're going to deselect the polygons on the spokes. I guess that's what you call them, on even wheel or car wheels or rims. Deselect those. And then let's extrude it again. Okay, so you should have something like that, and then with those polygons still there, we can go ahead and probably delete those out. I'm looking at this. Yeah, let's go ahead and delete those out. And I think I extruded again with these still selected. Sorry about that. All right, let's go ahead and delete those out. Okay, so here's what we're left with. We need to go ahead and get our details that we see in this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to vertex mode, and I'm going to take this vertex here, and I'm going to pull that down. But let's do that all the way through. And to do that all together, we'll grab our scale tool, and we'll scale that down until it matches there. Do the same thing here. Okay. And then I want to edit and add another loop. Let's add one here and add one there. And let me take this vertex and this vertex. Let me pull those down a little bit further. Okay, so it'll look something like that. Now you might be asking about the outside edge of this. Let's go ahead and double click on that. And let's scale it down a little bit, because it looks like we're just outside of that. A little too much. Let's grab this vertex and this one. Grab our move tool. Let's pull that up a little bit just to get that roundness back. And then now what I want to do is I want to get rid of everything that is not necessary, because I can actually work on just one of these areas and then duplicate it around to get the rest of it. So a way that we ensure that this is going to work, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these polygons. Okay, just like that. And it's going to be these polygons as well. So you see here we have 1, 2, 3 sets, and then 1, 2, 3 off of that. And we're going to delete all of these. Okay. Oops, let's not do that. And we're going to deselect that. Or, excuse me, select that. So we should have something that looks just like this. Go ahead and delete that out. Now don't freak out on me, because what we can do at this point, once we have all of this together, let me go ahead and connect these really quickly. What we can do at this point is we can say, all right, well, let's rotate this around. Let's turn on our angle snap, and let's set the angle to, I believe, 70 degrees. Actually 72 degrees on that. And if I hold shift and I snap that, see how that meets right at that corner there? Okay. Now you might be asking, all right, how did you come up with 72 degrees on that? Well, if you think of your wheel as 360 degrees, we need to split it apart into 5 different pieces. So 360 divided by 5 is 72. And so whenever I rotate this, let's get rid of that polygon there. Whenever I rotate this 72 degrees, I've got another one. If I hold shift, I can just simply make some copies of that and hit OK, and now I've got my full 360 degrees again. And then I can continue to work. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of those other 4 and just work on this one for right now. So, with this, let's go ahead and take these polygons right here, and we want to extrude those down into our wheel. Okay, so we're just going to use extrude, and I'm going to extrude that down to actually -2, and actually I want to do -1.5. Remember, we did increments, and for some reason my negative is not working. Let me cancel that. We did increments of 0.5 and we went 3. So if I extrude that, so -0.5 times 3 is -1.5. There we go. And then I can actually just delete that out because it's just going to create a hole anyway. If you want to keep that as a cap, okay, on the inside to where you can't see down through that, you could do that as well, but I think this is good. All right, so now I've got this wheel started, and everything is looking really good. I want to go ahead and add one more loop right across these edges, and I'm going to connect it. I'm going to add just a single loop, and I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to slide it down a little bit. Oops, doesn't want to slide. So let's connect it. Let's add 0 to slide, hit OK, and then we're going to constrain those edges to the edges, and we'll move it straight down. Okay, and what I want to do here is I want to take all of the vertices that are below that, and I want to push that back. Oops, turn off our edge constraints. I want to push that back so that way we get kind of this little bend on the M of that. Okay, so it should look something like that. A couple of other things that you'll want to do. You may want to go ahead and add in some segments here to adhere for this. So we can go to Edit, Swift Loop, try to add a loop in there. That's not going to work, so let's do this. Select these edges. We'll connect that together, and then you can actually slide that. And it doesn't want to slide, figures. Let's hit OK, and let's constrain it to the edge. And we'll pull that straight down. And I want to make sure that that kind of adheres to that shape. I tell you what, I'll cut that shape out later with this. I'll show you how to get it done really quickly. We can wait on that. So we have this shape. We've got it started on the rim. And so with the hard part done on that, let's go ahead and rotate it. And let's go ahead and just connect it all back together, because we've got all of the detail in here. Okay, and it looks really good right now. We've got all the detail in there. We may want to go ahead and add some loops and things like that, but whenever we are copying things like this, we want to make sure that it's set to a copy and then set it to 4. But when we're copying things and we're going to weld them together again, the least amount of vertices to have to weld is better. So select that top one again, and let's use attach, and let's just attach the other pieces to this, and let's go to vertex mode. And you'll want to select all the vertices in this, and we're going to use weld, but I'm going to take my threshold all the way down, and I'm going to bring it up to 0.01. You're going to see that it's going to come up to from 705 vertices down to 646. Hit OK on that, and now what you'll have is a solid piece, okay, for your rim. So if you go to element mode, you'll see that that is now one solid element. All right, very good. So now what you have the ability to do is to come in and add in your loops that you need here. So let's say that I wanted this vertex here. Whoops, looks like I've got a bunch of extra vertices there. Let's select all of those. Control backspace, select just that one there. Control edge mode there, and let's do connect. And then we can actually bring this down right there to the middle there, and then hit OK. And what this is, this little element right here, is it's kind of an indentation. So we'll take that center vertex and we'll push that in, making sure that we have our edge constraint turned off. Push that in, and then we can come around again, and we can do a swift loop. We can add a loop, Control-Alt, drag that down and kind of bring it toward that edge so that way it keeps a nice tight edge there. And let's go ahead and apply a turbo smooth to this. And you'll see that it starts to smooth out and becomes very, very smooth. Let's turn on isoline display. And you'll see that for the most part it looks all right, except for you know, the parts around the top where we need to keep some of those hard edges. So what we'll do in our next lesson is we'll come in and we'll finish this out by smoothing things out, adding all of the rest of our details that we'll need for our geometry. And we'll get started with that next.